Good morning, Taurus. Welcome back to Path of Enlightenment Tarot. For those of you returning to the channel, welcome back. For those of you who are new, welcome. I am Nicole. It is lovely to have every single one of you. Taurus, thank you for being so patient. I don't know if you guys caught my video yesterday, but it was simply that June was just a crazy month for me. And, personally, like I have to do the healing work in order to be able to help all of you, and I needed a timeout. There's just no other way to slice it. So, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for your patience. Know that the work that I do on myself is ultimately to help not just me, but everybody around me and those that I do these messages for, right? So, Taurus, I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach, given the time frame right now. We are getting ready to leave the Taurus and Scorpio North Node and move into Aries and Libra. And this is about fate. This is about the things that we need to work on. This is about the things that we have mastered in other lifetimes. And I think that it's going to be very important to understand what this shift is about for you. So side note to that, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. It helps circulate the messages, and you're going to get notifications every time a video is posted. This is going to be for your sun, your moon, your rising, being that it is the north and south node stuff. So definitely sun sign and rising sign is going to be very important with these readings. Furthermore, personal readings are now open and available as well, and that information can be found in the description box below, as well as the about section of the page. Taurus, as I was doing a little bit of meditating prior to sitting down here to the camera, the one thing that Spirit brought to my attention for you all was that this is about fidelity. And when we talk about fidelity, I think most of us would take that and go into the human mind of being faithful to a relationship or another person. What I will say to that is I think that there's been so much focus on yourself in the last 18 months because those north and south nodes are sitting for about an 18-month period. It's about sharing, and Spirit is saying it's about sharing with others now. You may have been in survival mode for a very long time, which required you to maybe go through some processes of the self. It's learning to, Spirit's just speaking right through me this morning, it is learning to open yourself up to those around you and not feeling so shut down that like somebody is going to take something from you. You don't have to be a taker. It's time to be a giver. So, take that and place that in your life where it fits. Spirit is saying it is the timing of everything, and thank you, Spirit, for the messages this morning. They're coming through very, very, very clear. But it's about the timing of you. It's about the timing of understanding. It is a time to step into, soul's path, soul's journey. The last 18 months for fixed sign in particular. So Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and Leo. Right? No, not Leo. What am I doing? Yeah, has been very challenging, right? So, just know that my brain just went blank. This is meant to open you up. This was meant to break you wide open. And if you're open to the messages and you're willing to put in the work, and you've done that in the last 18 months, you're opening up a whole new cycle. And all the signs are opening up new cycles, right? So just be aware of that. So I'm just going to throw some cards, kind of freestyling it, no rhyme or reason to anything, just going with what it is that I feel I need to do to bring you the messages. New deck of cards. I haven't really used them too much. It's the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. Beautiful cards. So you can, check those out on, Amazon, or I don't think I have, no, I don't have them in the store. So anyhow, all right, Taurus, this north-south node shift for you, Spirit. What is the message for Taurus in the north and the south node? I hope you guys have been doing well. I hope you're enjoying your summer, depending on where you are. Taurus. I almost, good morning. The cat says hello. I want to, completion. There it is. I just said you're completing things. The Rainmaker, right? It's feeling free and liberated from the cycles that you've been in the past. Opening yourself up to new experiences, no longer sitting in what I'm going to call a stifled mode. I'm going to say, Taurus, in some ways over the last 18 months, you could have been your own worst enemy. I'm going to go back to, Spirit just brought to my attention, the timing. Did you push timing that wasn't meant to be yet? Because you have to remember, when we're going through these cycles and we're learning these things, right? Or we're supposed to be learning at certain aspects of things. We're being forced to slow down to address certain areas of our life. There's a reason that things aren't maybe progressing the way that you had an expectation tied to, the way that you thought that they would happen. So with that, you know, it's time to pause, or it was a time to pause. And I'm going to say the Spirit's giving me January through March-ish was a time that you should have been pausing and really following your intuition, not running from a space of fear. You know, and fear will rule our world if we allow it. If we get up in our heads and we're overthinking things and we feel like we don't have stable foundations underneath us. I can see, like, it kind of reminds me of the Fool card, but it's almost like, you know, in that card, he's very, very stoic and very poised, right? To me, with you guys, it's almost like you couldn't catch your footing over the last 18 months. There was always something that you felt like you couldn't catch your footing. And if you found yourself in a space of fear and operating from a lack mentality, you know, whatever foundation that you built, and you know, even though we're moving out of this Taurus and Scorpio North and South node, if you didn't build those stable foundations, they can crumble, and they will crumble in due time. So, you know, you got to stop and think about those types of things right now. That's going to be very, very important. Okay, so it's almost like, to me, it's almost like, for some of you, and I don't think this is going to resonate with all of you, it's almost like a little bit of a forewarning that you need to really stop and look back. Stand still. I just said about you guys, you know, taking the time to stand still. You have the stand still and then curse at the bottom there. 5, 7, and 5. You know, that's almost like that inner conflict is how I read that. You know, the self-sabotaging behaviors that I just talked about. Learning to just be at peace with where you are in the moment, where you are right now. And I'm going to say, I know, not just for myself, but a lot of people that I talked to in the past 2 months, they felt like everything was very stagnant, very stuck. You may have found yourself the past month pushing. You know, I'm going to go back to that resistance, right? Like pushing yourself through to do things that maybe you were being guided to just pause on. The curse, to me, I don't think any of us are ever necessarily cursed. But to me, this is that own worst enemy kind of energy that I'm picking up on in regards to that. So it's like, you know, I think that moving into this new cycle, you've got to think about the last 18 months of what didn't work, right? Like where you maybe felt like Spirit is saying things were off kilter, things were not quite balanced the way that you would wanted them to be, because those are going to be your learning experiences, right? We always, every situation that we are in is a learning experience if we're going to take the lessons from it. So I just want to say, now might be a good point for you to stop and reflect what did not work in the past, what it is that you're leaving behind, what it is that you need to let go of, so that you're not dragging it forward into this new cycle that we move into July 16th. So it's very, very important as we move forward. For some of you, we are moving into the Aries, well, for all of us, we're moving into the Aries Libra North-South node, but you may be dealing with an Aries or a Libra, just a heads up on that. The Holy Mountain, interesting. I'm going to say to you, Taurus, that you have 52-25, so 5s and 2s may be very important at this time for you. I feel like this reflective energy is you. You're reflecting certain things back to yourself. Some of you may not be very content. You may not be, I don't feel like you're speaking about it, but you're recognizing where it's almost like you're reflecting back to yourself what it is with you that you're finding fault with too. What could I have done different? And it's almost like a little bit of form of regret in some sense. But it's like you also recognize that there's a need to climb a mountain. Maybe certain things in your life that you thought were going to be easier, they really were perseverance, you know, climbing that mountain, climbing that hill, climbing to new heights. It maybe wasn't as easy as you thought it would be. But I want to say to you, you're moving into a new cycle, right? So with every end, we have a beginning. But at the same time, understand that our lives are always full of challenges in some capacity. That is where, excuse me, that is where soul growth is happening at. So it's going to be very important that you recognize that and understand that there are phases of this life that you're going to go through, that the mountains are still going to be there. So if you think that it's going to be a clear-cut ride, there's the need to persevere through these climbs that you're going to experience and ones that you already have. But again, those climbs in the past are going to be about you understanding the lesson that you're taking forward from the last 18 months. Okay? I almost feel like for some of you, a little bit of victim mentality, not gonna lie, no offense, Taurus, A little bit of, you know, I've been wounded, I've been hurt, I've been shut down, I've been all of these things, right? But in the same breath, you're going to have to step outside of that. And we have the Vision Quest 60. You're going to have to step outside of that and free yourself from that mentality. For some of you, I'm going to say divine feminine energy. You know, it doesn't have to be female. We all embody the masculine and the feminine energies, right? So, but I do feel like for some of you, the feminine energy, some of you may have learned some very valuable lessons from a feminine energy, and it doesn't have to be romantic. They could also as well have been reflecting back to you certain things about yourself that you weren't ready to deal with. And that could have set you off on this quest moving forward of how to liberate yourself. I'm going to say liberate yourself in the sense that you're making better choices through this next cycle, as opposed to doing things the way that you've always done it just to find the reprieve. So, you know, I'm not trying to beat you up, Taurus, which I know I have the tendency to do in these readings. But it's learning to free yourself of those restrictions, but learning to be in divine flow with what is sending you forward. That 6 is finding things that are equal and reciprocating to you. It is you giving back as much as you are taking. It is moving into people, you know, the Spirit is saying into people from the past. So, you know, as we go through these cycles, you may see people from your past returning. You may be running into people from your past. And I think that it might strike a little bit of a chord with you too, as to those memories and those lessons with those particular people. So I would pay attention to those thoughts, those feelings, what it brings up for you, memories, the nostalgia of situations, because it's going to be it's like a reminder. You know, you think about things like, well, you know, we have a song that pops up and it makes us think of, you know, our grandmother or whoever. They're taking us back to that memory for a reason. And I think that's going to be a very important thing for you to take in, is why are we going back there? Spirit just said pay attention to the lesson because you don't want to repeat it. So, you know, take that for what it is within your life as you move and shift through this cycle. So let's see. I think I'm actually gonna do I'm doing things a little different. Okay. So let's see. What else does Taurus need to know? And I said about the Fool when there was the Risk card. What else does Taurus need to know as we move through the message? Spirit said you can't compare where you fell short. And I almost kind of want to say to you, Taurus, I don't think that Spirit's whipping your ass, and I'm not trying to whip your ass this morning. 9s are very significant for you as well. That is almost that completion, right? That 10 is the completion. You're almost there. Wounded warrior, feeling a bit beat up, a little burdened. But these people, these situations around you, it's almost, I almost feel like you were constantly being airdropped stuff, whether it's messages or people or situations or whatever it might be. Okay, it was like it was like watching a plane go across, you know, your home and going, here, Taurus, here's this thing, and here's that thing, and here's this thing, and here's that thing. And I feel like for a lot of you in the past of this cycle, it bombarded you, and it maybe felt very overwhelming to you at that time. And maybe still you're carrying, I'm going to say a lot of you are carrying some lingering feelings around that energy as well. So, let's see the present. Oops. Do not get distracted. Your energy and focus, you have focus and denial. If you're going to focus back on the past, I'm going to say this, we should always be reflecting, right? We should always be taking a look and addressing these cycles, that 8 and this 5. The 5 is requiring change of you in this present time with these cycle or with these node changes. What I see you looking back is at the past, and there may be some grudgeful energy. There may be like some kind of like, you know, I can't stand you because of X, Y, and Z, and, you know, just hanging on to some ill feelings about the past or situations. But there's it's almost like a protective, like you're trying to protect yourself from the past, is how that feels. But also understand that if you're focused on that past, that's worry, and we don't need to be in worry. And if we're living in anxiety, we're thinking about the future type stuff, right? So understand that if you're standing in your own way right now, you're denying yourself the right of the future. You're denying yourself the right of free will and change. And I do feel like when it breaks down to a 4 overall, you are fighting still. You're kind of a little bit in still survival mode of fighting for your foundations. The fight's over. Spirit just said the fight is over. You're done here. It's time to move on. And for the future energy for Taurus, as we move into Aries. Okay. Complicated. All right, we're going to clarify belonging. There's that house I talked about, right? There it is. This complicated. I'm going to clarify that before I speak on it, because with this present energy, as we're getting ready to move into that north and south node, your focus again has got to be moving forward, not the last 18 months. Okay, so complicated is like, are we kind of get this feeling like everything gets muddled. You're starting off a new cycle. You've got a clear slate, right? Karmic slate, clean slate, like start anew. But I feel like there's this tendency to want to slide back into the past where a union took place. And now that can be relationships, jobships, friendships, whatever. But it's almost like there's a need to slide back into things or the want to. And that does create muddled frequency. It's like Spirit's like, I'm asking you to move forward. And you're like, well, I'm still looking back here. Pick up your bags. Pick up your shit. Start moving forward. This message for Taurus, Ace of Wands. I don't know why with this Ace of Wands, but I'm getting clarity and enlightenment in regards to the messages. I feel like in the past during this north and south node, you know, there was a lot of inspiration that came in. There was a lot of what you considered to be clarity. It's almost like trying to map out the way your life was going to work. I don't think that it happened that way, Taurus. Usually it doesn't. Chariot, wanting to move forward and move on. Stepping outside of like those self-sabotaging tendencies. I'm getting a lot of black and white, right? I've seen a lot of that in this spread that I'm doing. The light and the dark, right? The contrast. So the message is asking you again to look at those two things. How can you take something and move into a higher vibing frequency rather than a darker, like, oh, this is just shitty, and maybe self-sabotaging or stepping back from where you were or where you were heading just because there's fear attached to that. We got the Queen of Wands, so Leo, Aries, Sag there. I do think that there were many times, Eight of Wands, many times that your intuition was screaming at you. That I said earlier about the need, feeling the need to make movement. And I'm still gonna stand by the fact that it was moving too fast. Spirit was asking you to pause and reflect. And Taurus, I mean, you guys tend to take things at a turtle's pace to begin with. So it's like you were moving quickly that it was so uncomfortable even for you. But yet, Spirit was asking you to kind of step back into those Taurus ways and slow down the process. So, you know, it's to stop, it's to self-examine, it's to find peace, to radiate and take in observance of everything else that was out and around you. Yeah, King of Pentacles. I feel like you're trying to protect what you feel that you've worked for. Like you're trying to, High Priestess, I don't feel like you're listening to your intuition even now. In the past, it's almost like you kind of, it's stubborn bull energy, right, Taurus? Fighting with the self. When King of Pentacles, Taurus, there you are, right? The Two of Swords, they're giving me inner conflict, fighting with your intuition, fighting against what you know to be true, denying yourself that right again to embrace these changes and understand that these changes they were pushing you into something else. And this could have been work related. This could have been relationships. This could have been, any avenue of your life. Place it where it fits. Don't force it to fit somewhere it doesn't. But it was this constant indecision of this back and forth, and this Two of Swords energy, it's reminding me more of the Two of Pentacles. Back and forth, I could, I should, I don't know what to do, how do I get there, not trusting your intuition. One day you're tuned in, the next day you're tuned off. Really struggling with listening to your intuition. And right now, Spirit is saying you do not need to protect yourself the way you thought you did. Like, this energy that I feel is like you've got yourself like wrapped up in bubble wrap kind of feel, when you should be feeling a sense of release and liberation right now. So it's important moving forward into this new beginning that you open up to your intuition. Let your intuition guide you. You guys can be a very highly intuitive sign. Allow your intuition to be the guide and stop picking apart everything that has happened. It's almost like the need to investigate, the need to, again, we need to reflect and review, but to pick things apart, it's almost like if there's not a problem, I'm looking for one. Does that make sense? I hope so. I hope that this is coming through clearly for you guys. So moving forward as Aries, I said 2 with that complicated card moving, in regards to unions. There's the Two of Cups. We've got the King of Swords in the reverse. If this is relationship related for you, moving into this new cycle, you cannot come from a know-it-all kind of space. I don't care. King of Cups. So we've got Aries, Libra, Aries again, right? And there it is, right there. Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. You could be dealing with one of those. You could also be dealing with Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. This card tends to take the Pisces connotation with me, but not always. But you cannot walk into something as a know-it-all. And that's going to be very important. I almost feel like because you've had experiences, relationship-wise, work-wise, whatever, that you think that you have mastered how you're going to handle your emotions moving forward through situations. If you are in this present state, as the cards are showing me and Spirit is giving me the messages, in this space, in this need to protect yourself, and you take that forward into this new beginning as we make these shifts, it will not work long term. It can't. Because what's happening here is it's almost like you're regurgitating and then swallowing again all of the shit from the past. All of these lessons back here that you should have learned, where Spirit came in and was like, let me teach you these lessons quickly. And you jumped on board. It was too fast and yet too slow. It was almost like the timing for you. It was either no-go or fast-paced, right? And now it's like you're pulling this nonsense in from the past moving forward, and now you're going to be wondering, it's not even wondering, it's feeling like you've mastered something that you quite haven't, Taurus. And the one thing that Spirit said is don't repeat the lessons, right? So I think it's going to be very important. So it's kind of like, I almost feel like this message is a bit of a forewarning for you. You can belong to yourself, all right? You can give to yourself. It's illuminating yourself, but it's also asking you to step into your emotional energy and deal with whatever this was from the past, whatever memories are going to come up, whatever memories may be coming up from this past cycle that we've been through, because it's closing out for you one way or another. It's illuminated all of these things for you. And it's also very much, yet another 5, massive change, Taurus, massive change. When it comes to your home life, the things that are your stability for you, some of you in Spirit said some of you may be wanting a partnership that gives to that home space. And that's fine, but you cannot do it the way you've always done it. So whether it's a relationship, a job that's going to provide for your home space, a person that you share a home space with, you're being asked to change everything. And I don't know that it's like your emotions aren't, head might be in it to some degree. You think you've got it mastered and figured out on how to bring things together, but I don't think your emotions are on board. Because there's this know-it-all kind of energy that I know what my emotions are doing. I know how to handle myself. I don't think you're there. Ass whooping, I know, and I'm sorry, right? But that's really how that feels as it comes through for you. So just be very mindful of that as we move and when we make these shifts. I am going to grab, I got cards all over my table. Excuse me for 1 second as my arms are not long enough. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the White Light Oracle, which I haven't used these cards in forever, as an advice for you moving forward when this shifts. 25:55 is what I just seen on the timer. 52:25 is why I opened your reading. So 2s and 5s. Unification, we ended with 2. You are coming to a cycle completion, Taurus, with that Sun card. So, closing this cycle out. 2s are union, right? Decisions. 5s, changes. Sometimes good, sometimes, well, they're all good in one way or another. It's just how you're going to take it, what your perception of it is. All right, Spirit advice for Taurus. Dakini of Infinite Light. So I'm just going to read you the book message on that. But again, to me, she's showing a sense of needing to liberate, but yet holding on. It's a very interesting card, and I might not be able to show these to you. There you go. That's the card, okay? So, another 9, by the way, right? We're almost to the end of that cycle. We're getting there. All right, Taurus. Where are we at here? 8, 9. All right, so Dakini of Infinite Light. Seek and you shall find. And that seer card was on the bottom here at one point that I've caught. Find the teachers and teachings which feel pure to your heart, but remember, it is the inner truth of you that will ultimately set you free. Do not give your power away, but do trust in a greater guiding wisdom at work in all aspects of your life. Ask for help from enlightened spiritual beings in any matter of concern, and help shall be granted. Believe all problems can be resolved, and a more graceful life experience is opening for you now. A Dakini is a supernatural feminine, which I talked about, being who inspires spiritual practices, guide ones to actualize Sahidis or spiritual abilities. And I'm sure I said that wrong. And I'm going to say to you, that wild woman, I'm going to pause for a second, that I seen back here, and I talked about that feminine energy may have been the one of lessons for you. So you may have come across that divine feminine energy in the last 18 months that has truly opened you, cracked you open, or has made you have to see, and I don't want to get too much into the twin flame stuff because there's so much around it. But this could be, that mirroring is that twin flame. But I also feel like this was mirroring it back to yourself. The experience that you chose to take on is how it seems to me that that was you. So you chose to take on this experience, have a interaction, we'll call it, with the divine feminine that came into your life for fated reasons, Taurus. And that person showed you something. There was a situation, a lesson. Make sure that you take whatever words of wisdom that was given to you and you sit with that. It's going to be very important as you move forward. Because I feel like for some of you that those messages, and we've got that message card there, they may have came in like a wrecking ball into your world and shook it up. They may have made you see things you didn't want to see. But now it's your job to heal that and to find peace in it. So she teaches the inner path of awakening. She protects us from negativities and restores our vital energies. She teaches us how to act with wisdom. She can be a demanding teacher, requiring us to reflect upon the mysteries she presents throughout our dreams, inspirations, and meditations. Then proceed to unravel them. As we do so, we develop our inner capacities and become stronger. These wild feminine creatures can be gentle or fierce, or a combination of both. When she appears in a reading, travel your path and explore your questions about spirituality and awakening with confidence, for much progress can be made as you do so. Some Dakinis are fully enlightened, whilst others are still in the process of awakening. Truly enlightened beings have the ability and the desire to assist all other beings to enlightenment. They know how to lead us along the path because they have walked it before us. Beings of lesser development may or may not have had such helpful intentions. But even if they do, how can they show us the way when they themselves have yet to discover it? Truly enlightened beings can and do help us in many ways, from solving problems we encounter in our daily lives to ensuring we are taking the most beneficial steps on our spiritual path. They are our spiritual family, guiding and assisting us from a place of love and skillfulness. The Dakini of Infinite Light, Marichi, is one such being. Marichi is connected with the rays of light from the sun. She is sovereign over all of our lesser beings. Her many gifts include the capacity to guide one into enlightenment, to heal and repair that which has been separated or broken, and to provide protection during vulnerable transitions whenever we venture beyond known worlds, and also from misfortune and negativities of all kind, including being manipulated, controlled, or exploited. She resonates with material abundance too, and is associated with providing the prosperity we need to live a happy, long life and make progress on the spiritual path. This divine goddess of the sun brings light on all levels. We need light to see clearly, otherwise we feel confused as to which steps, if any, to take. That Two of Swords, right? This is just as true on emotional and psychological levels as it is on the physical. Light helps us see what is happening rather than making assumptions. When we see what is happening clearly, we have the opportunity to make the best choice. I revert back to the sun. I revert back to that Two of Swords, guys. Very, very important. The Oracle of the Dakini of Infinite Light augurs an increase of light in your life. This can include a lighting up after a difficult time, an increase of clarity from a helpful, healing, and higher perspective, or a clear, positive path opening up through a troublesome time. Her appearance signifies sacred victory. Call upon her and do not give up. I kind of feel like that was your reading in a nutshell, truthfully. I mean, I think they explained it better than I did in my words, whatever. But very, very important messages. You guys, you know, that I keep want to say to you, that 9, you're almost there. These cycles, these completions, the timing, all of it. I got the chills right now. Goodness. We're always good. You will always get back. I feel very compelled to say this to you. We will always get back what we put in. So remember that in these unions that you're dealing with, again, whether it's love or whatever it might be, whatever you're, whatever you are investing into them is going to be the return, whether it's from them or somebody else. If you've given nothing, you're going to get nothing. If you've met halfway, you're going to get halfway. Don't sell yourself short, but this is about the lessons. Don't deny yourself the right of happiness from these experiences. They were meant to open you up. They were meant to change you. They were meant to free you. They were meant for you to find that sense of belonging within yourself. You know, people were going to mirror back to us what it is we need to know at any given point in time. And I feel like, Taurus, that's what you've dealt with over the last 18 months and moving forward. I'm going to say job well done, though. You know, for those of you who have really paid attention and done the self-healing work, job well done to you. You're almost there. Spirit is saying other people tend to trigger you, but understand that you can't hate those experiences. I mean, you can, but don't hate those experiences, because they're trying to show you something. They're trying to open you up, trying to crack you open. It's been very much about your enlightenment on this path. Now you get to decide what you want to do with it. Don't self-sabotage. Okay? Alright, Taurus, I hope this video resonated for you, and if it did, please hit that like button. That is so extremely appreciated. Again, personal readings are open if you're interested in finding out what's going to happen for you moving through the next phase of this Aries Libra transit Aries Libra North and South node that starts on July 16th and goes on for the next 18 months. Feel free to reach out to me through the information in the description box below, as well as the About section of the page. You can also check us out at holisticallyzenwv.com. yet another way to get a hold of us. You can read a little bit about me, what I've done, spent my life doing. We have e-commerce on there. I've got gemstones and crystals and things from all over the world. We do take a holistic approach in healing the mind, the body, and the spirit. So you can check me out there. And if you know, you're not seeing something that you're looking for, please feel free to shoot us a message, and we are usually can get my hands on. We can get our hands on just about anything. So you just let me know. All right, Taurus. So I'm sending you so much love, so much light. Looking forward to this next cycle for you. Spirit saying, do good deeds, and they'll be done to you. So there you go. You know, decipher that where it fits. And again, if you want to book an appointment, feel free to reach out to me. I'm wishing you guys all the very best and sending you tons of love. Take care. Bye-bye.